this is. What is the CQF standard, and why is it so important, especially using natural biologic isoforms?
Well, this is really the difference between what we have here with Engage Global and all the other stuff that's out there. All that stuff that claims to be an antioxidant and all that stuff that claims to have all these great results, although they can't really show studies like we can, fails in that structure that you just talked about, the content and the quantity and the forms. And the short answer is that if you don't understand antioxidant science, you don't combine the proper dietary antioxidants with the endogenous antioxidants, that's the kind that the body makes, and with the glutathione elevating agents, that is the agents that get into the cells and drive glutathione levels, which is the body's most important internal antioxidant, to maximum levels. If you don't do that, you do not get the broad effect that we see with MMF. The reason is that there are thousands of different kinds of free radicals, and there are many body compartments and environments where these free radicals work. Some have high oxygen tension, some have low oxygen tension. Some are intracellular, some are extracellular, some are in water environments, some are in fat environments. And if you don't take care of all of those, you cannot expect to get the results that we get. And as for quantity, that's very important. So dose and dose schedule are absolutely vital. And in the typical micronutrient or supplement world where people take things once a day, what we learned in Dr. Prasad's laboratory was that if you do take the various antioxidants on a once-a-day basis, because of their half-life, the water-soluble moieties or constituents would have a half-life that might be 12 hours, or 8 hours, or 6 hours. The fat solubles would be a little longer. But what happens is you get a peak and then you get a trough. And at that trough, the body screams for help. It emotes a gene actually called DJ1 that we isolated in Kadar's lab, and it encodes for a stress protein. And the protein says, oh my God, I don't have enough antioxidants, and causes a tremendous stress response in your body. Well, stress is the exact opposite of what we want when we have a micronutrient. So why the heck would you want that? So by giving twice-a-day dosing, we smooth out that whole pattern. We don't fire DJ1. We don't get that stress protein, and we can take advantage of the antioxidant effect that MMF gives us that very few others have figured out. As for the important isoforms that you mentioned, that's chemistry, but I want to just take a word on that. The body biologically recognizes only certain forms of different micronutrients. They have to be in the right stereotypic form for the body to see them and use them. If you have the improper form, you may as well not take that nutrient. There's many, many examples. I'll give you a couple. Vitamin A, for example, comes in two forms. One's called the trans form and one is called the cis form. And if you don't use the all-trans form, now that's more expensive, but that's what MMF's about. If you don't use that all-trans form, you will not get the vitamin A effect. You won't see the differentiation of cells. You won't see the driving to make carotenoids, and you don't get the biologic effect. Vitamin E is the same way. If you have vitamin E in the levo form, which is the cheap form, it doesn't work. The body doesn't recognize it. So you must have the more expensive dextro form, what we call the natural form of vitamin E, for the body to see it. Also, it's unusual, but in fact, in some cases, you want actually not a natural form, say in MMF. And one of the real harbingers of this is calcium. If you take calcium in a natural form, it will be absolutely contaminated. There is no way you can get pure calcium. They're always contaminated, at least on Earth, with manganese, magnesium, and various other mercury's a biggie. And so those are problems. So what you want to do is understand antioxidant science well enough to have the right components, the right quantity and dose schedule, and the right isoforms to get the biologic effects we see. And to my knowledge, only MMF has all three of those characteristics.